Why, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Bullet Cubed Countdown live stream for the Gamefound campaign. It's me, your lead developer of Bullet, Marco DeSantos, also known as the Mechanic Critic, and with me is the ever amazing, ever wonderful lead designer of Bullet himself,
Josh, also known as F3. Hey, everybody.
Hey, everyone. It's absolutely amazing, Josh. This is like what, our second most funded campaign
This
ever?
is officially our second most fun crowdfund campaign ever. Yes,
This
very,
is
very exciting.
completely
Just
upsetting.
passed Guilty Gear this morning.
It's wild. And you know, if you had told Marco and Josh from a few years ago that your humble game about heroines shooting bullets at each other in outer space will outrank a Guilty Gear project, neither of us would believe it. Truly, neither of us would believe it. So, Josh, you're the designer. How do you feel? How are you? How are you?
I mean, I'm fine. You know, it's the end of the workday, so I'm coming from work highs, I guess. Like trying to stop looking at spreadsheets. No, I mean, I'm usually pretty like humble about this. Like it's still kind of blowing my mind. It says I haven't really processed it yet that it's doing as well. It's cool. I like that. This game that we made way too 5 years ago at this point.
You're right.
2020 thing. Yeah, is still go. Not just doing this well, but like still go. Right? Like if you had told me you were gonna do like a cross with the orange juice and stuff like a while, like I wouldn't have believed you on that either.
Right, that's true.
I think the links this game on Penny Arcade too, who like, we've done a lot with this game mechanically and theme wise. So it's pretty neat.
Yeah, I love Bullet. I mean, as we do more and more Bullet expansions, I become more and more cognizant of the fact that we can go crazier. And every Bullet set, we just go crazier. I mean, when we revealed Yuki, everybody was like, "What do you mean she plays blackjack?" And I'm like, "Yes, she plays blackjack." And they're like, "Yeah, obviously."
Well, and some people were like, sure, to get my own playing card deck, right? That's kind of like, but no, we give you that too.
The first level was actually, surely you just mean blackjack themed or similar to blackjack, or like she just cares about the number 21 or whatever. Surely you don't actually mean she just plays blackjack. And I'm like, no, actually just blackjack. And then yes, the second level is what you said, which is like, surely you just expect us to have a random deck lying around. And I'm like, no, it's just, it's
I'm just glad it was cost effective. I was a little worried that we weren't going to be able to print that playing card deck.
Well, we did, and we're here. So for people who don't know, outside of being the lead designer for Bullet, Josh is also our production manager. So components, printed stuff. If it's like making the game a physical object, that's Josh's job. So it's also your job,
because that ties to the storage box too.
I was about to say, if
that's all my fault.
Josh isn't. Hey, look,
once it gets there,
we take our lumps, right? Like if any character printed is bad, that's also my fault because I'm the one who develops them. Okay, so let's read some comments. Mark says, Bullet Heart was my gateway game to level 99. I'm excited to play Millennium Blades soon. Please do more anime-inspired games. Well, that
shouldn't be a problem.
Should not be a problem, because that's all we do.
Kind of what we do.
Yeah.
Not all of what we do. The non-anime games, like Noir's not anime.
Noir, Cell Swords, we have Cool
Cell Swords
Animal
is pretty
Fact.
Yeah, we've got some non-anime stuff, but like our big, mainline games tend to be, have that art style.
Right.
It's like what us, Japanime, Jasco, like that's it.
Yeah.
Whiz Kids, I guess sometimes.
I mean, we're
do the anime games.
Yeah, I mean, we're not always anime. I think we're more like video game, right? Like that's actually our brand. Like Japanime is anime. Our brand is actually video game. It's just so
Bullet's a shoot 'em up game in board game form, right? It's not an anime game in board game form.
Right, and if you're wondering, like, how does this throughput line up with all the other games? Like, Cell Swords is literally just, what's the name of the freaking
Triple Triad.
It's Triple Triad, right? It's just
From
Triple
Final
Triad.
Fantasy VIII, which is now relevant again thanks to Magic the Gathering.
There's no Final Fantasy VIII character in Magic the Gathering.
No, they're doing the Final Fantasy set.
Yes, they are, but there's no Final Fantasy VIII character in it.
There is an art. The Jumbo Cactar art is a Final Fantasy VIII art because Renault and Irvine are in that art.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't even notice.
Yeah. They're in the Jumbo Cactar art.
Okay, that's
They're very small, very hard to see, but they're there if you zoom in.
Okay, my favorite thing about the new Final Fantasy set is that they had no idea how to tie in Cloud's Final Fantasy-ness. So they just made it so that Cloud cares about the number 7 because he's in the Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah, sure. Like, yeah, that's fine.
What?
That's fine.
But yes, when it comes to anime-inspired games, I think the latest one is probably gonna be Adventures at Argent. So we'll get.
I mean,
there.
Wardens is pretty anime, right?
No, the
Still
art style
Indians.
for Wardens is not very.
I guess
anime.
it's more less anime.
Yeah, it's like
fine.
viewing Indians through a non-anime lens. So I think the next anime-esque game is going to be Adventures at
Probably
Argent.
RPG, I guess.
Yeah,
Probably.
which is a tabletop RPG set in the magical university of Argent University that you saw in Argent University, Argent the Consortium game.
Argent the Consortium,
Yeah. All right. People are saying, Gilbo says, so excited and looking forward to the game. Nintendo Naruto fan. I like your name. Excited to see the final box in action once it's ready. Yeah, I mean, we have the white proof.
So I do have a white proof sitting next to me. It's very heavy and hard to show off on camera.
Yeah.
So that video you saw a couple up was the factory show. It's the white proof. That has now been shipped to me, and it is in my hands, and I have put everything in it and sleeved it and all that, and there are some small adjustments that need to be made.
I mean, that's why we have the white proofs,
they're
right?
very minor, and it basically functions, and I think that people are like this. I think this is the best of the storage solutions
I do want to
so
note
I
something.
think people will be satisfied.
If Josh thinks that people will be satisfied, that's Josh speak for it's good. Okay?
I mean, people will be satisfied with an asterisk that says if you are the kind of person that is satisfied by storage boxes, right?
Okay.
If you want a singular box that fits on a calyx that stores everything and then some reasonably well, then, we're going to deliver that.
Right. Well, that's good.
The thing you saw on the Kickstarter is fairly close to accurate to what you're getting, and so
right.
Keep that promise.
Well, we're gonna do our best. Somebody's saying, can I buy the game in person in Albuquerque? So, contrary to popular belief, none of the stock is in Albuquerque. Most of our board games are in the warehouse, and the warehouse is not in Albuquerque.
We do stock our games in local stores, but Bullet, these products aren't even printed yet, so yeah, they're not anywhere.
Right.
I guess you could come to the office and steal the white proof, which I wouldn't appreciate, but you could do that.
Yeah, but the white proof isn't even a final production copy, so it's not even. No,
it doesn't complete function. We intentionally made sure it didn't function so that if it was stolen, then you would have to wait for the final storage box.
Yeah. That's psychotic, but don't do that.
Yeah.
All right. People are now asking Campania how about Spooktacular? Any updates on what pre-orders will be finalized?
Should we keep talk to just Bullet for this? Or
yeah, I was about to say let's keep talk. Let's keep talk to
other projects. We'll post updates. We'll post emails in our news. Right. You can keep an eye on.
This is my policy for anything that involves Level 99 Games projects. Okay, because I'm aside from being the lead developer, I'm also like the community manager and the social media guy.
Sure.
So if we have not said anything, you are fine. That's it. If we
You'll
say
hear
something,
about stuff when we say stuff.
Yeah, and when we say something and it doesn't involve you, you are fine. If we say something and then it contradicts your reality, that's when you are not fine. So for example, we say New York shipments are out. If you are not in New York, you're fine. If you are not in America, you are fine. If you are in New York, then you don't have your game, you are not fine. In any other situation, you are fine.
This is an example, of course, not a reflection of the state of shipping.
Why would New York be separate from any other place in America?
Yeah,
That's insane.
Right.
Maybe East Coast, West Coast, but New York specifically is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, we really like communicating with people. So basically, if we know something, we'll tell you, and if we don't know something, we won't tell you. It's just crazy. Why would you tell something to people that they don't know? But anyway, we are so close to the end. And Josh, let me just pull up the stats here. We are at 400 and I think we're at 85 right now. 485. Let me
485, really?
467. Sorry, my bad.
Okay.
I thought we were 485.
Still, that's fine. That's also fine.
You know, I'm just projecting. I guess I just want us to make all of the games.
500K.
Yeah.
For the end.
Yeah. I'm coping. All right, Josh, I do have a question for you. So, while we're waiting for the chat, chat, feel free to ask us any questions about the Bullet Cubed Kickstarter, any of the new heroines,
the IP that it's in,
any of that stuff, and we'll answer it for you. But Josh, I have a question for you while we're waiting for chat to respond.
Sure.
Who's your favorite heroine from the new expansions or new?
I'm glad you clarified that because we just had a meeting the other day about new heroines that aren't the ones you're talking about now, and I was going to mention them.
No, don't start mentioning non-existent characters.
Right. Of the new content, like mechanically or flavor phase or what? Like,
I mean, just like
one of each.
No. If you could, if Thanos snapped his fingers and you could only save one heroine, who would it?
One. Can I save one from each set at least?
Sure. Fine.
Okay. In Orange Plus, it's Fernet, hands down. I've talked about this quite a lot. When we did Orange originally, I specifically mentally checked myself to not use the Ojo laugh as a quote any bullet until I confirmed that we weren't doing Fernet.
Okay, so you saved it for her.
We do that sometimes, when there are things that we think might have been like a UA or like a quotes or a pattern shape, or like we kind of check it off to not see characters that it really matters for.
Right.
And Fernet was kind of one of those characters. In fan, and I'm picking in fans awkward, right? Because the fans submitted them and they're all very cool, which is why we picked them.
I mean, you just pick one. It's fine.
So
nobody's gonna
picking one. And is it Caitlin, Violet, Sal, Ulissa? I like Sal because her mechanics are simple and she's cool dragging. But I like Ulissa's flavor a lot. I think she was got really I got really invested in every flavor, but Ulissa I went really hard into the flavor.
Yeah, you created an entire order of knights, so
yeah, all of her pattern names are other knight names, and they all have quotes that reflect how they would talk. And her boss mode has her title and has the cool rules of the circle dueling and all that.
And it feels like a Dark Souls boss because she just one shots you.
And it sets up this whole concept the deep, which was not part of the fans' original mission, that was added to kind of tie together. And so now there's this whole thing I can work with now,
right?
With the Night Order and with the Deep and all that. So it expanded the lore quite a bit.
Right. Okay.
Also, she has flippy patterns. Flippy patterns are cool.
Yeah, she to tie her into the frogs, right? She flip flops her patterns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. My answer is obviously in Orange Plus. I would save Yuki because
sure.
I mean,
Yuki is close second. She was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you play blackjack, dude. What else are you gonna? You play blackjack. What else is there? And
originally with Yuki, we wanted the whole Warda gang to be in the art, but because the art frame is really weird and rectangular, that didn't work out very.
It's not gonna
also
fit,
that's how we put them on the patterns and the playing cards.
The playing cards. Yeah. Her gang is the cards, right? That's cool.
Yeah.
And then for fan, I have to give it to my girl, Caitlin Smirt.
Sure.
I mean, the design's just cool, zombie gamer. And I just really like the idea that she can kill everyone by round 2, including herself. So
right.
It's very funny, very cool, and of course the XX messenger of loss XX, and I know you're not supposed to pronounce the X's. I grew up in that era.
Right.
But yeah, like the boss fight is just really funny. You know, she has a first-person shooter generating energy shields, and like all of the quotes are like all of the quotes are from other heroines typing in all chat because they're
Right.
salting.
I was really jazzed about her. It's how Unlife and Overshield worked out so well.
Yeah,
Like I was when I saw the submission. Like we were talking about, like how are we gonna make an undead girl, like where we hit upon like Unlife, and then you don't because phrasing like that is so good in this game because you can say the phrase you can say Unlife, and then you don't have to talk about like how life works, right? You can just put it over life track, and people inherently understand. Oh, the bullets that hit me now go to this new space. Why? Because it's called Unlife and it has life in it, and it connects to the hitbox still.
And the same with
Overshield, right? It has shield aim. It works like a shield. It goes in the shield. It does the shield thing. It's just a weird shield because it has the word before.
Right. So, and there's a benefit to not needing like super oracle wording like we're a Magic the Gathering game, right? Like we can just kind of associate words with words and people like kind of get it. And for people who don't, they just go to BGG, ask once, and then they now know the answer and then they're done.
Right.
You know, and it's easy. Okay, let's answer some more questions from the chat. I bought a what's this one? Hi, how much do I need to pledge for Pledge Manager access? Usually any tier gets you Pledge Manager access. Will I still be able to get the free Ichthys promo if I don't pledge for a specific item now? Usually the Ichthys promo should show up in your thing no matter what pledge tier you pledge at. So the real question is, did you follow the campaign before it started? Because that's the only time you get the Ichthys promo. If you follow the campaign before the campaign started. So
I believe you can still add her on.
Yes, but she costs money now. She's not free.
Right.
Okay, so there you go.
And any tier will get you Pledge Manager access.
Right. Deathbreak says, Level 99 Games has enabled the Wu-Tang clause. We can perform an elaborate heist to steal the original bullet print prototype. I need the getaway driver, a demolition expert, and a pro TCG player.
I gotta bury it in the desert with all the other ET copies.
Yeah. I think you need to steal the Declaration of Independence first to find out the combination to our safe. There's a really so Josh and I are fans of tabletop RPG. Do you know the tabletop RPG is it called Feelings or Emotions or
Lasers and Feelings?
No, not that one. It's the tabletop RPG where you guys attempt to break into Carly Rae Jepsen's house to steal the
Oh, that's Boy Problems.
Boy Problems. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh my
gosh. It's like a post-apocalyptic future where like you get a heist team there to steal all the Carly Rae Jepsen songs that she hasn't released. Because I almost said canonically, because in real life Carly Rae Jepsen has gone heard saying that she's written and like produced and recorded like hundreds of songs that have like never been released to the public.
Right.
And so there was an RPG based on that.
There's an RPG based on that. Fun. Crazy.
Yeah, there's an RPG based on everything by now, surely.
Right. Any characters that you guys designed that you couldn't get to work but hope to add in the future? Millions.
A lot. I have a big Google sheet, like mechanical notes and like character names and like stuff that like, and on every set that you see, there's a secret Google Sheets tab that's like scrapped ideas, and we showed some of these off on our Discord Bullet fan channel. You can go see like the 7 versions of CU that didn't make it, and like the 70 versions of Ichthys that didn't make it.
Right. Some
a lot of concepts like don't work out in general, or they could work out, but we don't have time to make them work out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things fall by the wayside.
What do you call this? There's a version of CU where she used to play a worker placement game. There's a version of CU where she had an automatic site. There's a version of CU where she was a programming heroine. Like, it's crazy. There's like so many different versions of Bullet that, and it's important to note that when we make a new set of Bullet, it's less about making 4 new heroines to fit the box. And it's more like, yeah, here's the list of like 60 heroines that we have in the back burner. Which of these get into the new set? Like it's
Right. Well, and
it's
expansions are themed, so we have to pick within a flavor
yeah, and if we don't
bounds,
have
which
enough
is one level of restriction.
right, and if we don't have enough people to fit that theme, we just make new ones. But like the
Right,
point
right.
the point is that, you know, we have Shark Girl, and then we have we have Martial Artist Girl, and like there's a bunch of other characters that we've teased you know, in so many aspects that have just
Right.
not made it into a bullet game yet.
Some of them are on Behemoth's patterns too. Like there's a couple of heroines referenced that just don't exist in the game right now that might never exist.
I
We'll
mean,
see.
one of them isn't even a heroine, right? One of the people referenced is a character from a non-existent game that, you know, if you play
Right.
Millennium Blades, you are aware of, and if you don't play Millennium Blades, you don't know that there's an entire bullet game that exists within the like. There's a game that takes place in the Bullet universe that isn't called Bullet, that you are only aware of if you play Millennium Blades. You know how crazy that sounds?
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
it's-
hopefully we'll make that eventually. Like, I really need to get back on that project. Thank you for reminding me.
right.
But yeah,
So there you go. That's
a lot of projects in the wings.
that's the answer to that question. It's crazy.
I think I'm most mad about old Ichthyos because old had like a hook marker, and she could put it on her deck or in her site or in her current, and depending on where it was, it functioned differently. So she literally like could fish in different areas,
right.
and that was one of the ones where like personally, I think we mostly scrapped it due to time. Like I think we could have made work, but the amount of time it would have taken to like make it function at all would have been too long.
Well,
considering we had to get those out real quick.
well,
those two
not,
promos.
it's not just like time limits, right? Like I also
Oh yeah, it's also that like, you know, of these 3 fishing zones, only one is actually really interesting, and the other 2 are like kind of interesting or actually don't do anything. So like pick one.
and,
You know, which one is it going to be?
and it was the deck, right? And at the end of the day,
And it was the deck. Yeah.
at the end of the day, that's what Ichthyos turned into. I think that was the thing about that version of Ichthyos, is that changing where you would put the hook, the line marker, whatever, was not an interesting decision, right? Like it was just, yeah, I'd always put it on the deck because drawing more patterns is always better.
Right. Or like when to move it is like obvious. So
Right. And so that's kind of the thing about making a bullet heroine, right? Is that you if you present the player a puzzle, it should actually be a puzzle. It should not be fake, right? It should not be oh, there's like 4 options, but actually of all the 4 options, only one of them is good and all the rest are garbage and you don't care. Like that's not a puzzle. It's just, you know, you're lying to the player at that. Okay. Adam asks, I want to get my 11-year-old into it. What else should I get besides Heart? Maybe there is an expansion that's more suited for new players. If you have Heart, you have the most. If you have Heart, you already have the most new player friendly character, which is Ice Sphere. Orange has some new friendly characters in Suguri, and of course, Ichthyos is probably Mark. Not, I wouldn't say Mark, right? Because Mark plays the game. Mark doesn't play Bullet.
as far as like, you know, putting text in front of a player, yeah, like she does 4 things and that's it.
Yeah,
and
she
her
does.
patterns aren't weird.
Yeah, that's true. And then in the new sets, I think Ichthyos would be the closest to like a tutorial level heroine. Like Ichthyos is pretty close to Ice Sphere in terms of like difficulty. So there's that. Feel free to use those. We have a house rule that you have to read flavor text when you use abilities. It's hilarious. Of course, you need to read the flavor text when you.
Well,
What other point is there?
we should have made that as a rule in Millennium Blades or something. It feels very Millennium Blades.
Okay, Marco out here asking the softball question of your favorite heroine. How about the most mid heroine? What a question. I think here's my answer.
Go ahead.
Here's my answer. Okay.
New stuff or
from everything. The most mid heroine is obviously CU, because she has no strong feelings about anything.
That's a cop answer, Marco.
Of course, all heroines are good.
You have a real answer,
Like
yeah, but it's personal opinion, right?
No. There's
Like-
here's my point. As lead developer, right? As developer, my job is to make sure that even I think most of the heroines are printing fine, right? Like,
Sure.
like I guess the real question is like, which heroine would you be fine with Thanos snapping out of existence? Well, you guys
Yeah, because like as design, like there's a lot of characters who I like don't care for, like mechanically and flavor wise, right? And that's kind of part of the point of design, right? If I designed all the characters so that I would like them, like mechanic flavor wise, you guys would be playing like the simplest game verse, and everyone would have like glasses and like long black hair and whatever, and it would be very boring.
sure.
So like I it's good if I don't like some stuff. Same with fan too. Like some of the fan got picked. Like I was not the biggest fan of at the outset, but I knew that the characters would fill like a really good niche that the game needed,
Right.
and that somebody would like them for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like
Now I like all of them. Now that we're done with it, like I actually like all of them.
I love Violet. I love Violet mechanically, right? Like
I like Violet's lore a lot.
oh, okay. See, we like different things about different things, right?
Yeah.
Like if you okay, basically, if you ask me which heroine am I fine like leaving in the dust, the real answer to that question might not be what you expect.
Is it Nawa? Are you just done with Nawa?
No, I love Nawa. I love Nawa. It's actually Jane though. That's my answer.
Oh no! Why? Jane's great.
Oh no! I'm not saying Jane's bad. Jane's definitely great. I think mechanically she's interesting and all of this stuff. But if it's a matter of personal opinion, I think Jane feels too good. Does that make sense?
Sure.
In the sense that once people start playing Jane and they don't go too deep into the mechanics of Bullet, they just assume Jane's broken. So they just because it's like Jane is so easy to pilot because by definition her ability is that it works on autopilot, right?
Yeah, it just happens. You just get free stuff. Yeah.
Right. So Jane is so easy to pilot that if you're a person who's struggling with Bullet, you can find success with Jane, right?
Sure.
And that's literally what she's built to do. But as a result, some people now think that if a character can't perform with the amount of effort or non-effort that they use with Jane, they think the character's now bad, right? Like if I can't win with this character with the same amount of effort that I put into Jane Doe, why would I ever play this other character? And I'm like, well, that's not the point of the game.
It makes them like jaded, right?
And not, I mean, jaded or like it gives them a
Jane
dead,
did, I guess.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It just gives them a wrong impression of the game, I think, right? Because it's like if you are playing Bullet to optimize your effort to payout ratio, why are you playing a puzzle game? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's a puzzle game. It's a puzzle game. The effort you put in is the game. That's the fun, So if that's my genuine answer, right? Like, I feel like certain designs lead people to think wrong things about the game sometimes, and that's not the design's fault or whatever. But sometimes we can be a personal preference. Okay, let's see. When can we send our pledge delivery address? When we do the pledge manager.
Post campaign, we'll send thing to tell you to finish your pledge manager and fill out your address at that time. So
which will happen when we say it later. Happens. Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Threads.
We started with 10 patterns, then down to 5 patterns. So when can we expect the next heroine to have 2.5 patterns?
I would love to make a hair that has like no patterns, and I know you won't let me, Smarco, and I will strive to figure out how to make that work. But yeah, I would love a hair like 1 pattern or no patterns, or like 2.5 is a little weird. Like you could do your patterns. You could do it. Patterns could be split in half or whatever, and like her third pattern is just like you overlay it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
you like put it on the left or right side. You flip it, right? You put it on the left or right side of either 2 other patterns, and it makes them different, kind of like Anne Claire.
Yeah, I was about to say you could just do Anne Claire. Anne Claire basically has half patterns, so that already kind of
right. It's kind of Anne Claire. Yeah.
Or Yulissa, right? Like technically, her patterns are like one side of a pattern is only half that pattern, right? So she technically only has 2.5 patterns at the start of every round.
Well, you're right. We do heroine with even less patterns. The smallest pattern amount is 5.
Okay,
right, we definitely need to lower that.
How about How about 10 patterns, but they're all small?
How about one pattern, but it's really big and weird, and you move stuff around on it.
Okay,
and that
that's
creates different patterns.
Your site is a pattern.
That was a version of Whimsy that didn't get through.
But maybe with new Marco and Josh technology, we could make it work.
Maybe there's a cleaner way to do old Whimsy. Yeah, you could. Oh, yeah, you could. So you could do something dumb like, your patterns are split into 4 quadrants, and on your site you have like any bullet and clear sprinted.
Yeah.
And you use bullets to like cover things to like create patterns, right? And then you just execute a quadrant as a pattern.
Right.
And so you'd want to cover the bullets to like, cover up requirements and reveal clears and stuff.
Yeah. Maybe that's a thing.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, anything's possible. System now, I believe, after C and Yuki. Like, yeah.
Yeah, people don't believe me when I say that Bullet is simultaneously the strictest game we have and the least strict game you'll ever imagine. There you go. Which Bullet heroine would you most... okay, this is funny. Which Bullet heroine would you most want to have as a roommate? And which Bullet heroine would you least want to have as a roommate? It's very easy. This is very easy.
Characters to think about.
This is very easy for me.
Sure.
I would like to have Vesta as a roommate. She's chill. She's just a student, so like, she's not getting up into crazy stuff. Her power might be dangerous, but she mostly uses it for like simple things, and she's not known to like completely go out of control with her power, right? Least, Rose, because she's a serial killer.
Yeah, sure.
I
guess there's just objectively bad people in the game.
Rose is a serial killer.
Easy answer.
Like, it's a choice between Rose and Senka, right? But at least Senka, she might be a hit woman, right? But her thing is that it's a job, right? She doesn't like.
Yeah, she's not gonna off you, like,
unless somebody pays her to, right? But the point is that like outside the job, she watches old movies and drinks alcohol. She smokes cigarettes, drinks alcohol.
Well, that depends on what part of the camp you're in, Marco. If you played Millennium Blades and have certain sets, you know that she does many other things besides sit room and drink.
Right.
Sometimes she sits in rooms on spaceships and drinks.
Yeah. Sometimes she goes on an intergalactic bounty hunt with her crew of funny pirates. But it's whatever, right? Like the point is that Rose is worse, right? Because Rose would enjoy killing you. Like that's I think that Ixnay on that. How about you, Josh? What's your answer?
That's fair. Thinking.
Josh, the Bullet Project is ending.
Oh, it's ending.
In 5.
What's the countdown? 4,
3, 2, 1.
2, 1.
All right. Oh, everybody!
Over to hit 5K
with 3,770 backers. We raised
also a new record,
$468,410.67. This is 1,171.03% of our goal. Thank you also.
Thank you very much.
Josh, do you have any nice words for the people who supported your game?
Thanks. I'm not much for words usually, but genuinely thank you. I hope that we can deliver on, the money that you spent and that you'll enjoy the new content or the old content, or whatever content you are receiving. It warms my cold heart to know that, you are spent time and effort on the thing that we make. So thank you very much.
Right. I'm, what do you call this? I hope
we're going for another 30 minutes, right? Or are we doing?
Yeah. We're going a little bit over. Okay, cool. Like, we don't need to end it right now. We really appreciate all of the excitement you guys have for Bullet. I really appreciate all of you loving the characters and the world and the game. And hopefully you enjoy all of the new characters that come in the new sets. They are legitimately, they are some of the wildest things you'll ever see in any board game. Right,
we had a lot of fun making them. Yeah. Like most fun I've had working on designs in this is partially due to this campaign.
Right,
like CU's book was a blast. Like the fans were super fun to work with. Like,
Right.
very exciting.
And Yuki obviously exists, and Burnett exists,
Right.
and I guess that's the thing. I think Bullet Cubed, Orange Plus, Fan, and the two new characters. I legitimately, and maybe I need to say stuff like this more often. I legitimately think they are achievements in board game. Like I'm not gonna say
that's
that.
a bold statement.
I'm legitimately gonna say it because it's one thing to have a game where you go like, ooh, do wacky dexterity thing, or like, ooh, just, stand on your tippy toes and put the card on your head, right? And then just have that mean whatever. And it's another thing to have a game that's mechanically complete, like a Magic the Gathering, right? Where it's like when you play a card,
Sure.
you know what it does. But it's an entirely different thing to have a game that goes like, yeah, play blackjack, and then have that still mechanically make sense. Like, have it
Sure.
output properly to real gameplay outcomes, have it output properly and make sense in the rules of the game. All of that without requiring a 20-page document for people to understand what that means. I think that's really something that only Bullet has done, among other things. Like, sure, other games have probably done it before, and I don't know every single board game to exist or whatever. Sure. But the point is that, like legitimately, I think not a lot of games do that kind of thing. I think Bullet is quite special for that. Here's some more questions, Josh.
Wait, I have to answer the last question.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Roommate question.
Yeah, please answer the roommate question.
So would room have most I would say Sal, I think, for some reasons that you said Vesta.
Okay, wait,
because,
pause. You can't be Sal, right? Because Sal would turn into a dragon and ruin the entire house.
No. She can, stay human, as long as she needs to.
But
That's
she
fine.
inevitably gets hungry.
She's, super chill. She can eat all the stuff that I don't eat.
Yeah, but if she gets hungry enough, Josh, she will ruin the house. As evidenced in her boss art where she accidentally ruins the school.
I have insurance. That's okay.
Okay. I mean,
let's see. Not. I guess I'm stuck on the food. So I guess I wouldn't live with Na because, she's a lot older, right? I don't think it would work. Well, she'd constantly berate all the food I'm eating. I don't think she'd be the kind that would make food for me. I think she'd just scoff at everything I made and tell me to get better and not help.
Yeah. She would never cook for you, right? Simply because people pay her to cook. So why would she do that for you for free, right?
Right.
Also, maybe
she's a snake that can eat things. So kind of like Sal, so that could get out of hand occasionally.
Right. She could eat you, right?
Yeah,
if she wanted to go there. Yeah. It's crazy. All right. Marco
new questions.
Yeah, Marco focuses on the gameplay of Heroines whenever asked questions. And Josh focuses on the lore. What's Marco's favorite heroine lore, and what's Josh's favorite heroine mechanically?
I can't say Nawa. That's cheating. Because you just helped design her.
Okay, fine.
Non-Nawa flavor.
Nawa flavor heroine.
I gotta think about mechanically probably Mark, right? Or Fernet. Fernet's really good.
Yeah.
I think Fernet more than Mark because Fernet is less No, I have to say Behemoth. I have to say McGirl. I have to say because I specifically designed Behemoth's mechanics so that I would play her because I liked Behemoth's flavor so much that I was like, Marco, you cannot let this character get by unless she's my favorite character.
And she is, so you're fine.
She's very good. She's up there for sure. She's number one, but she's definitely there. I just, way to, it's no, turn brain off, no thinking, right?
Brain off, no thinking.
Throw your entire hand into the discard. And then just send some bullets, and then keep the good things.
Right. Kill the bullets. Exile your entire discard and fine.
Right.
Lore heroine. This is a really interesting question.
I guess bosses have different mechanics, so I'd have to think of the boss too.
Or this is hard. The fact that you said no Nawa makes it so.
I knew it. Yeah. You can't make it easy.
It can't be Nawa. I'm biased, because Nawa's Filipino, so I have to pick Filipino. But okay, let's actually think.
Sure.
It legitimately might be. It's a toss-up between Balance and Senka. I really, really like the idea that the concept of entropy in the Bullet universe is not a malignant force who wants to destroy everything. And it's not a evil I must destroy the universe or whatever.
Sure.
And in the end, she's just like, this is my job, and I literally have to do it, or else we can't make more things. Like, we will run out of space, so I need to clean up stuff. And she's just like, I am so tired because the opposite of her, the deity of creation, keeps making stuff, and she won't stop. So I can't stop. And, I really like the flavor. I really like how the mechanics bleed into the flavor, too. Like, Balance as a character, we literally designed her ability so that we could print the words, "You have no life," on the text box, right? Like, we literally made the character...
Very top-down, yeah.
Yeah, we literally made the mechanics so that we could just print the words, "You have no life," on the character board. Because, what else?
Well, it worked out double well, right? Because if you're AP your life, that literally means your work is your life, right?
Your work is your life. Do. Yes.
Yeah.
It's so good. And it bleeds into the flavor too, because she is a space witch, right? Space witches are so powerful that they meaningfully cannot get hurt or lose fights, right? They're gods, right? So there's no stopping a space witch. So how does Balance lose any fight in Bullet? Well, obviously when she gets too tired to fight, when she just gets too lazy, or when she gets too bored. So when she runs out of AP, she doesn't lose, she just leaves. She's like, I have
just gives up.
I have better things to do than do this. Fine, you win. I'm out. And she leaves. This is why Balance loses when she loses all her AP. This is also why Celestial Cleaning doesn't lose, right? That's why she gets removed from the game instead of she loses, right? Because she just leaves.
Yeah, she just leaves. Yeah.
So lore-wise,
it's like all the vampire characters in fighting. It's right. Like when Slay or Rachel loses, they just kick back. They don't get knocked out.
Right.
They just relax on the ground.
They're like, okay, I've had enough. You're fine.
They just stop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so there you go. Those are the answers.
Ulissa Boss is probably my favorite boss current. She was a ton of fun in testing.
Yeah.
I just I always purposefully play wrong because I was like, how many times can I proc her boss action without dying? Because that was pretty fun actually.
Right, because you can technically use it more than once.
You can spam them, yeah. You can just keep using them if you want.
Right.
You wouldn't want to, but you can.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. There's some more questions. Not questions, but statements. Just want to drop here and say huge props to the sound team for the awesome music created. Yes, it's very good. Thank you.
Bashfire Plaster. Thank you if you're on the stream.
Goated OSTs. Your favorite OST from
it's been that's also one of those I've been working on new tracks, so I can't talk about this.
Just currently existing.
It's been a while since I've heard them. Right, I kind of listen to them when they get made. I don't I have Spotify, so they're not my rotation. But they're all really good. I don't saying they're all really good. Of course, they're all really good. Probably I'm trying to think which ones the ones I can remember. I like Mariel's theme a lot.
Fair.
That was good.
Mariel's theme slowly has turned into
Jane's is good.
Jane's is also pretty good because that sounds like a noir song.
Right.
Mariel's theme is I don't know how to explain this, but if you didn't know it was Mariel's theme, you would just think it's a default Bullet theme, right? Mariel's theme could easily be a Bullet theme song. Oh, that
sure.
Mine is Ikolu's theme because there's a musical pun in it. So
sure.
Yeah. For people who don't know, Ikolu's theme is a waltz, which is written in a third time signature. So
right.
So even the music for Ikolu references the number 3. Okay.
Actually, I'm gonna say CU's theme which I
Wow.
don't think has been revealed.
Of course not.
So I'm going to say Seiyu's theme purely because of the title, which I don't quite remember off the top of my head, but I remember that. So Ling Ling's themes is it's something like a mathematical equation is right twice an hour.
Right. A mathematical impossibility is correct.
Impossibility is right twice an hour. Yeah. Seiyu's theme name is a response to Ling Ling's theme name.
Oh, that's fun.
And it's like I'm gonna dig it up, but
right.
It's like and hours are a construct of the mind. I believe it's her.
All right. Here's a question: Is the musical melody also a response to
it involves Ling Ling's theme? Yeah.
So it
has snippets of Ling Ling's theme.
She lay motifs Ling Ling's theme. Amazing.
Yeah, basically.
Of course.
So that was fun.
I imagine.
I like writing the names of the tracks. Like I think it's the best part of the tracks is I get to write the names. That's super fun.
Oh, you write the names?
Like the lore since Plaster, since we moved to Bashfire is fine with me writing the names. Like he doesn't care.
Okay,
what the tracks are called. He doesn't like write them for me. So
right.
I actually spend a lot of time thinking of tracks like I do with the lore sheets, so they're not just like afterthoughts.
It's really crazy. I just want to note this for people who don't know. Like the flavor text in Bullet is like half the time we spend on it. like
sure.
Like there's a lot of time.
Yeah, there's the flavor text, like making pattern shapes look like the thing in the name, right? Like writing themes that sound you're right. Like I always have to make sure it's like a theme with a tilde squiggly line mark.
Of course.
In each OST because that's very Toho.
That has to be Toho, yeah.
Right.
And so like there's so much love and care put into the game. Like I believe people will not imagine because they see a Bullet Heroine and a Bullet Heroine is like 10 cards and like 2 boards, right? And they're like, oh, okay, that probably didn't take too much time. And it's like, a lot of time goes into making sure that the mechanics fit the theme. Like at the end of the day, lore and the theme of a Bullet Heroine is the most important part of that, right? And everything needs to make that work. That's why Jane finds the equipment in her bag, right? Like we literally designed that character just so that you could feel like you're an incompetent cop who doesn't know where her equipment is, right?
Right.
We designed Sal to dragon out at moments that you don't expect because that's her entire thing as a character is that she has to hold the dragon in, right? Or I guess more accurately is she has to maintain the girl, right? Because Sal is not a girl who turns into a dragon. She's a dragon who turns into a girl, right?
Correct.
Okay. Hey, Crofin's in the chat, speaking of Sal.
Oh, hey.
I think QP is pretty new player friendly. QP's pretty new player friendly as well, so I will accept that. But yeah, okay, Josh. Since it's been 15 minutes since the end of the campaign, I do want to say to the chat that you have your last chance for questions before we go. I do have a final question for you. What's next for Bullet?
Should we be talking about that? So I'll speak in
no. Wait, let me be more clear.
Specifics.
What's next for Bullet Cubed? What's
next
for
Bullet Cubed?
Yeah, like what can the fans, what can the backers
we deliver
expect? I mean, sure.
We finish. We give you updates about the progress of the storage box. When we have another white proof, when we have a physical sample, with the colors and all of it on there. I believe still all the Heroine updates already, so those are done.
Right.
Just keeping you updated progressive production mostly. Pretty much everything was done ahead of time besides the storage box. So, CU and Nick Theos are in digital proofing, so they'll be printed, within the next month. So, and then we'll just got to finish the storage box.
All right.
And that's kind of it.
Yeah.
But I would say to answer the question that I thought was being asked a minute, that considering the success of this campaign, I would not be surprised if we do maybe one more, maybe a couple more sets, maybe a chance to fill the storage box, maybe a chance to re-release the storage box if you didn't have a chance to get it the first time. Right. Maybe. I would not be surprised if we did another campaign.
I still need martial arts girl to get in. Okay? Like
there's a lot. I can't get everyone in.
But
I do have a couple Do have a couple of promo slots that need filling, and
we still need a canon Cycle 617 character who has no powers. Okay, we need.
Oh, CU has no powers.
She does.
CU has powers. CU is powerless.
What? Does the
no, in her lore sheet, she has no powers.
What? Okay, there you go.
No, she doesn't.
Oh,
she's just really well, yeah, she has no power.
Okay, there you go.
That's why she uses tech, right, to fight with, because she can't do anything.
This makes a ton of sense. Is CU actually?
She's also a martial artist.
Oh,
yeah.
The real martial artist was the friend I made along the way. She was already
way ahead of you, Marco. Don't worry, we got there.
Okay, yeah, but now that you've said it, she is the empty fist martial artist. You're right. So I guess we're solved. Okay, so some more questions.
Okay.
All right.
Got about 10 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite pattern? We're talking about pattern shapes, so I assume what's your favorite pattern?
Can I name a behemoth pattern?
Sure, up to you.
Or am I banned because I banned you? Oh no,
no, it's okay. Unlike you, okay. I am not mean.
Okay. I see. How harsh. Probably I guess I'll do flavor and mechanical. Right? Flavor wise, it's for sure or Behemoth's pattern. Boss Behemoth's pattern. It's the really long name because I got to continue it on her heroine forms pattern.
Yes.
She has that really long name. It's like I just made this weird thing and I don't know what I'm calling it yet. Yes. On her boss. On her heroine form, she continues it by saying like, "Oh yeah, by the that thing from my boss, like I thought of a name now, but actually I'm still not to tell you because I'm too busy like blah." So like she actually doesn't name that pattern in the end.
What is that weapon supposed to be?
I don't know. I specifically didn't think about it. I just like tranced out and started writing. She would write and just kind of like it's some sort of bladed thing. But like beyond that, I don't know.
I always thought it was like a motion wave cannon. Like I always thought it was like a railgun.
No, it's some really weird. It's one of those weird like if you can conceptualize it, your brain would explode kind of things.
Okay. Only a great cat.
It's one of those weird things.
Only a great cat can understand.
Right.
Mine is actually really basic and really simple, and it's not the Nawa pattern.
Okay.
It is actually a die pattern. So Precursor Die has her Meeple Guard patterns. And I think they're they're the cutest ones. Because for people who don't know...
Meeple shape and they flip.
Yeah. For people who don't know, the Meeple Guard patterns are just 3 any bullets that are like shaped in a pseudo triangle. AKA shaped kind of like a meeple without legs. And then the clears are verticals. You know, like they're spears, right? Like that's the spear of the Meeple Guard. And of course, there's 2 of them, and the other one is just holding the spear on the other side. So it's like the same any patterns, but the clears are now on the other side of the Meeple Guard. So if you put them side by side, it's like you have 2 guards that are like standing like this, and then the other one standing like this. It's awesome. Like it's so simple, it's so clean, and it fits her because you know, for people who don't get it, all of Queen Dai's patterns are not actually attacks. They're all like her traps and her servants and whatever. Yeah,
they're other animates that like live in the castle stuff. Yeah, they're kind of like Ulysses patterns, right? And that they're like people.
Right. So it's really, it's really fun because of course Queen Dai doesn't actually fight you straight. She just orders her guards to like fight you. Like she's like, why would I bother with you? Like whatever.
Well, she doesn't fight you in boss mode either.
Yeah. Because all of the things you're doing are just like her like it's
trying
a
to get
roll
to her,
move.
basically.
Yeah, it's a roll to move, right? And the thing you're moving around is her castle, right? So you need to get to her, and you just need to beat this castle that's filled with traps and like whatever, like it's a death trap. So it's pretty cool. Josh, how about a legacy girl who actually writes stuff on the bullets?
I think a legacy girl would like unlock cards, not like write stuff on bullets, because a good legacy show is one that you can reset, and a bad legacy game, in my opinion, is one that cannot reset, except for exit. Exit gets a pass, I guess. So that's the intention. But yeah, I would definitely want to do a legacy mechanic. Like I think a legacy mechanic would be disappointing to some people in that, like, you could just open all the packs and just play her at full power, or like you know, the experience of a legacy character would be the games you play to like get to the end, right? Kind of like a roguelike, right? The experience you have of like seeing the back of a card like Machikoro, and it say like, do this thing during your game, and you'll clear 2 4-bolts at the same time, and then you can use this card in your next game, or like that would be the fun of play here. That is like playing with your hands tied, to get a fun thing, and when you do, now you get a fun thing that lets you experience.
We can fix that. We could just make the legacy part not stronger, but just different. Like
right. It would be like a loadout thing. At the start of the game, you pick 5 patterns that you've unlocked. Right. Right. And then she has a separate line that says, here's how you unlock patterns. Wait, if you don't want to unlock them, just play with all of them, whatever.
Right. But you can unlock them by doing like stupid achievements, like, die on round 1. or like die on round 5 or whatever, right? Like it could be a thing. Okay, so
that would be fun. I would like that.
Let's just answer the last few questions before we go. Egg says
maybe a fan submitted that already. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
For Fan Plus.
Speaking of which, the poll for the fan submissions are still open, right?
Yeah, I believe we're keeping it open through the week, and because we're not going to look at the submissions this weekend anyway, so I believe it'll be open through the whole. And so you have a little bit more time to refine your submission or define your submission.
So if you think that Violet and Yulissa are pretty cool characters,
and Sal and Caitlin.
Yeah, Sal and Caitlin. I mentioned Violet and Yulissa because they're the ones on the stream UI. I couldn't fit all 4 of the heroines on there because there's too much of them. If you think they're pretty cool, they were submitted by fans. And if you want to be one of those lucky fans who gets your character into the next Bullet Fan Plus expansion, submit to the Bullet Fan poll, and maybe you win. And if you win, you might see your character be fully developed into a real official Bullet character. As Josh said, it'll be open until the end of this weekend. So you have only a few days left to put your submissions. So get on that. We'll answer the last few questions.
For the people that have submitted, we'll email you, probably the week after we close the poll. So keep an eye out on your emails.
Right. So very important. We do not publicly announce the winners for this until the actual set is released. So
if you win, we will email you and tell you that you won and have you sign a contract. And then part of that contract is please do not talk about this until the game is announced.
Correct. So, but the point is that if it's been like a month since the poll has closed, which will be by next week,
and you haven't heard from us,
don't expect anything. Yes.
Well, and we'll mention in our Discord too, that the people have been picked. So there's some communication on that.
Right. Okay. So what are the chances we get more Bullet crossover collabs? How about a collab with Jollibee?
Ask your favorite crossover collaborator to collaborate with us, and maybe you'll see them.
Yeah, if any one of you knows Zune, just put them into my...
If you know Zune, if you know Toby Fox, if you know other shmup-related properties, or non-shmup properties with heroines in it, have them talk to us, have them email us.
Right.
Okay, now there is a question.
I do have a question.
Okay.
I do have a question. Mm-hmm. Before you is 2 possibilities. I'm not gonna ask about Toho because by default Toho's always gonna be the answer.
Yeah, that's the dream.
Toby Fox approaches you and says Undertale.
Like in a back alley, or like...
yeah, in a back alley he goes like Undertale, right, with a knife. All right. Or Hasbro approaches you in a back alley and goes My Little Pony.
Undertale for Bullet.
Wow.
For Bullet, Undertale for sure.
I'd pick My Little Bullet, dude.
I think that Undertale is more what Bullet is about.
Sure.
I think that MLP would work, like G5 or whatever would be fine. But I think that Undertale is more of what Bullet promises.
Sure.
And also I think that the mechanics for Toriel and Muffet and stuff would be cool.
Would you put Sans in it?
So
would Sans break the rule of all the heroines must be
Sans breaks the rule of the character has to be female presenting, but
would it be cool enough that you would Okay.
I have toyed around with joke bosses that break that rule. I designed Wild Arms Bullet, which we don't have, by the way. It's like, oh, we have to have like certain bosses as because they're the iconic ones, but they're like weird monsters and stuff that like don't make sense for the game. And I was like, oh, what if you have Loka and she teleport orbs in and that's the boss? That's funny and it makes sense.
How about we put Sans in a wig? Is that good enough?
Sans is rough, right? Because Sans is like the
Undertale character.
He's Sans Undertale for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So I think that people would expect Sans. And I mean, let's just talk, Bullet Undertale, which we do not have for a second, right? Muffet, Toriel, Mew Mew, Undyne, and like Mew or Temmie, probably, right? Like those would likely be.
No, we could put the human, right? Because the human is agender enough.
But there's less or boring. Blah, no thanks.
Wow, you need an ice sphere in every set. They could literally be. You
can have an ice sphere. Where's the poll for the fan? Discord. Looking at the Discord. What would Muffet's boss be? Probably like her spider friends and stuff, right? What would Temmie's boss be? I guess probably more Tem or college Tem.
Do you want to implement like a weird season mechanic for Bullet Undertale? Like
I think that IPs would justify a season mechanic. I think that as a way to keep design space freer, we could do a season mechanic for something like Undertale or whatever to make it like to give us more room to work with. Because like you'd think in Undertale, right, that because when you fight Boss Muffet, right, you want to be on like a weird track that like limits your movement, maybe.
Right.
Like how little you have to get.
Or you might want to do
Spider Muffet. It's the boss.
Talk spare mechanics, right? Like you could talk.
Yeah. Would you have a spare? Like, is it? This is kind of the struggle with Bullet design in general, right? When you're originally Bullet, like how many things can you remove before it's not a shoot 'em up anymore?
Right.
Where it's still recognized shoot 'em up, right? Is Undertale recognized without a spare mechanic? Yeah, probably. Is Undertale recognizable without black and white UI design? Like, yeah, probably, but we could do that very easily. We could make a site that's black and white, and like that'd be cool. We could make a UI that's black and white, and that'd be pretty easy. If you put a spare mechanic in, what does that even mean? Does that limit design?
You could
in
send
other ways.
Less bullets when you clear. Like you could not send the
like when you clear, you can send them to like spare instead of intensity. Right. Or whatever, and like that means something.
Yeah. And imagine everybody gets a printed board that has like the Undertale combat UI on it, and then
imagine that like the UI is like the top has like spare above it instead.
Right, and like, fight obviously, and then you could like send bullets to fight, and then it would go into their intensity like normal, right? Because you're actually fighting them. Yeah. But if you do it on the spare, there's like a mechanic for that. I don't know. We can figure that out.
You could do some cool stuff.
Right.
Imagine there's 3 boards, right? And common actions are what? Attack, item, spare. Is there a 4th one?
I think it's talk.
Is there talk?
And then there's run, I think.
Right. You could put them at the bottom of the boards, right? Because that's where they would be in the UI.
Yeah.
And then do something with them.
I mean,
anyway, do we have any more?
The coolest part of Undertale is when they break the 4th wall, in a sense, right? Like when, spoilers for Undertale. Like, can we even still?
Is that okay?
Yeah, like spoilers for Undertale. But like when you do the Sans fight, right? Like throughout the entire game, they've been conditioning you that your heart is the cursor to select the options, but your heart is also the thing that gets hit by the enemy attacks and deals damage to you, right?
Right. You can get attacked in the menus and stuff.
Right, and then Sans attacks you in the menus, right? Like so, like right. While you're picking your options, the heart is still moving around, and then there are like bones coming out and attacking you while you're menuing, right? Like so, like could we do that as an ability? Like
yeah, could we do that? Yeah. Would it be too much of a pain? Like maybe. Like even if we did it, would it really be that cool?
I don't know.
I'm definitely jaded about certain IP So right now that we've worked with a bunch of them, I would rather deliver a fun experience than like do the thing you expect.
No,
right?
yeah, absolutely. I'm not talking about. I mean, like, you know, if we get to the design of it, like emulation is not experience, right? A lot.
Right, and you know, part of that knife holding Toby Fox example, it's him saying you have to put Sans in or you don't get Undertale. Then yeah, maybe I would do that. But
Right.
you know, would I put Sans in defaultly? I don't know. I'd think very hard about it.
Right. So Egg is.
Any other final questions?
Yes, Egg is saying Frisk would not be Ice Sphere because saving and loading and is not an easy thing to represent. Totally easy to represent. What are you talking about? You're just not thinking hard enough.
I think that it would still be boring though. Doing Frisk would be blah. When you have characters like Underline and Muff, you would do Frisk like ugh. Like okay,
wow. All right,
cool.
Frisk is cool. Okay,
we'd talk about it, right? If we got on, we'd talk about it. We'd explore Frisk's design space. Sure. I would give you that much.
Cotton is a series with a lot of characters to work with. I don't know what Cotton is.
Cotton is a series with a lot of characters to work with. So it's like Exceed, Gun Bullet Children, and Mushihime-sama, and like every shmup that we haven't done yet. Cave shmups, Death Smiles. Yeah, Tevi, you know.
Oh, don't mention Tevi here.
There's a lot we could do.
Egg's gonna rattle you and go like, put Tevi in. All right, Sympho.
There's a lot we could do. There's a lot maybe that we've talked about. The scenes that did pan out or didn't pan out that I can't talk about yet.
Right. Sympho Gear Bullet, Josh.
Simple what?
Sympho Gear. You know Sympho Gear?
Oh, Sympho Gear.
Yeah.
Sympho Gear. Yeah. Use Sympho. You know, I haven't seen enough of Sympho to do that justice, so I'd have to watch all of Sympho Gear. But I would do it because they got the Wild Arms music guys in Sympho Gear.
Wild Arms music bangs, dude. Every time.
Yeah.
Egg says, why would I rattle Josh to put Tevi into Bullet when I'm already putting Tevi into Bullet? Parenthesis, this is a cry for help.
I will to entertain state Egg, I will state for people who are submitting to the fan, well, because I suppose we didn't make that super duper clear in the fan poll. If you would like an IP that we do not own in Bullet, please do not submit that as a fan mission because we cannot realize that as part of the fan. If you want, you know, like Goku, Superman, whatever, or in Bullet, do not submit as a fan poll because you will be automatically, you know, not included as a potential winner because we don't have the IP. And I trust me when I say I am probably extremely well versed in shmup. He's to where if you know shmup exists, I have considered it or perhaps talked to
them about it
or wanted to or not couldn't Japanese contact email to have like we want to do everything. We want to thing we know there are IPs out there we would love to do more.
Would you do Tenchi Muyo?
But would I do Tenchi? I would do Sasami, I guess. But specifically as part of the Pretty Sammy IP, not as part of the Tenchi IP.
I see.
Because it would probably be easier to get.
I mean, somebody in the chat said that it might, like, they might have already, like, done the Zune thing and, like, released the rights to be able to use the characters whenever you want. I don't know.
Zune, it's more of a principle thing.
Sure.
You know, yes, Zune's fan work rights are probably such that we could do,
but we're not
Bullet
just
Toe,
a random
but like
guy.
We're a company with like, you know, like people behind us, and like, you know, it would be weird if we didn't have Zune backing us up. Like,
right.
It would not be a good idea for a company that, you know, has staff and has forcing things in the board industry to just release someone else's IP without the support of the creator. That we couldn't do that. In good faith.
It's especially different if it's not a video game too, right? Because if we are selling a board game, it's a physical product, which is different from just being able to make a video game.exe
right.
executable that you can run on a computer.
I am almost positive if we made Bullet and without Zun's permission, he would have something to say about that.
Right, because it's a physical product
I can
too.
almost
That's important.
guarantee that.
Right? Because physical products are merchandise, which is entirely different from like making an art or making a game that you don't print physical copies of, right? Like it's different. Like the laws are just different. Okay, let's finish this up with the last.
Sure.
As Connor says, "Hi Marco and Itri, congrats on the success of the campaign. Thank you so much. It's only because of fans like y'all that we got here." Last question: what's your favorite bullet hell game?
Oh, I should have prepared it. You told me to never prepare anything for the stream, Marco.
You should have an answer for this, brother.
No, there's so many. There's so many. Like, you go first, Marco. Well, think very.
Okay, what counts? Okay, wait. What counts as a bullet hell game?
You want me to get really technical about it? Or like name something and I'll tell you if it counts.
Is Hades a bullet hell game?
That would be easier. No.
Even if a majority
I would say that hey, this is a top-down action roguelike with bullet hell mechanics.
So what makes a bullet hell game? What makes a bullet hell game?
That's a deep question that if I answer I might get lambasted. Let's see.
Because it's Undertale a bullet hell game? Because 90% of the time you're not spending that. Like the amount of time in which you spend dodging bullets in Undertale.
I would say it's an RPG with shmup mechanics.
So it's not a bullet hell game.
That's hard because like you do more shmup stuff game than you do RPG stuff. But not really, because there's a storyline and you have to read a bunch of text boxes.
No, this is what I'm saying. The amount of time in which you spend playing bullet hell in Undertale is virtually similar proportionally to the amount of times you spend doing bullet hell stuff in Hades.
I personally would consider Undertale an RPG with shmup mechanics, but I would not fault you for considering Undertale as a shmup. Okay.
So if that's the case,
I would say like the majority of the gameplay has to be dodging thing. Is Nier Automata a shmup? Like is trying to think of other things where you dodge stuff a lot.
Dark Souls is Dark Souls a shmup?
No. What
was
was the question?
What's your favorite
shmup?
bullet hell game?
The bullet hell that always comes to mind is Hurricane of the Varstray.
Wow,
it's on Steam. I remember playing it a lot when I got it. I like all the orange juice shmups, of course, because we're working with them. They're all very fun. But like Marco, I play so many shmups. I play shmups that like exist on an executable file from like 15 years ago that I downloaded like when I was in high school. Right? Like I have games like Warning Forever and like really weird, obscure in shmups that like no one's heard about. Like there's so many. They're all really good.
Okay,
and I can't just name one Toho either, right?
All right, I have an answer. This is a legitimate answer.
Sure, give an answer. Give a legitimate answer.
I'm not a big fan of like your classic bullet hell games. I didn't grow up in that era.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
I mean, sure. I could give like the typicals. I could say, yeah, I played a Toho. Yeah, I played not Rabbi. Gosh, it's escaped me. What's the name of this game? Oh, great.
Other game that the Rabbi people made?
No, it's a game where, gosh, chat, help me out here. It's that roguelike game that is like Final Fantasy 14, but it's actually
that roguelike game.
Yeah, it's that roguelike game that's like Final Fantasy 14, but it's actually like you're a bunch of like rabbit, cat, girls, or whatever who like do a bullet hell thing where you fight raid bosses. I forget the name.
Are you gonna Rabbit and Steel?
Rabbit and Steel. There you go.
Okay.
I've played
Rabbit
those.
and Steel is also very fun.
Yeah, I've played that. But here's my legitimate answer.
Maiden and Spell.
Here's my legitimate answer. I do not know the name of this game, so somebody please help me out. You grew up in my generation. Were born in the 90s to early 2000s. Owned an old Nokia 3310. You know those brick Nokia phones that like could beat Mjolnir in a fight for durability, right? Those phones had Snake, right?
Okay.
But they also had a game where you played as a spaceship, like a typical like rocket ship, like oblong
Sure, like
with
asteroid
triangle,
spaceship. Yeah.
right? Oblong with a triangle, and it's legitimately just a shmup. And there's like a boss that kind of looks like a weird octopus head guy or whatever, and it's legitimately just a shmup on an old 3310 phone. I do not know the name of this thing.
I'm not that well versed in shmups, unfortunately.
So Connor says they know the exact game that I'm talking about, but I do not know the name. So if somebody can tell me the name of this game, I would highly appreciate it, because I know people know this game, and I know
because we wanted to get the IP for Bullet so we can put triangle calculator ship,
like little sprite ship into the game. Okay, is Mario a shmup because you dodged Goombas?
Oh wait, no, Tyrian has to be, or Tyrian, how is it pronounced? That like PC air shmup game. That has to be my answer, because that's the game that got me into shmups, I think.
Space Squids? Okay, and now I'm gonna look Space Squids. I'm on my phone now, and I need to check.
I posted it in general.
It is not
what you're talking about.
Oh my god, it's Space Squids. It's Space Squids. It's Space Squids.
If you want Space Squids and Bullet,
it's Space Squids.
Whoever is likely dead that designed that game.
Oh my god, Space Squids. It's Space Squids. Thank you. Oh my god, it's Space
gotten
Squids.
In touch with his past self.
Oh my lord, it's Space Squids. I need to show this to my brother, because my brother and I used to play this game.
That game looks really detailed for like a mobile phone.
No. You need to look for the one that has like green backgrounds and all the sprites are black. Like
okay.
Like I'm gonna just send you an image from the Google search, because there's probably like a Space Squid sequel that you're looking at on modern phones. But like this is what Space Squids looked like. Yeah, I sent it to you on.
Sure. Yeah, that looks pretty detailed. Like, that looks way more detailed than I would expect a shmup on that kind of platform to look like.
But it's so... I mean, this might just be like the Android version of it.
It looks like a Tiger or handheld arcade game.
Yeah, I mean, because it was on an old Nokia brick phone, right? Like,
right.
Like with the green background and like the black sprites. Oh, it's Space Squids! Okay, thank you so much, chat. We found it. It's called Space Impact. Okay, might be Space Impact. Now let's check.
Space Impact, that's great.
Space Impact. Oh my god! Okay, it's also Space Impact. Are Space Squids and Space Impact the same game, or did Space Squids just rip off Space Impact? Because this is the other game. And both of these look very much the same, right? Is Space Squids a sequel to Space Impact? Like,
got a sequel.
Yes, Space Impact.
We might have to find out next time on our next Bullet live stream. In
the shmup
years plus time from now.
Chat said 1942 is my favorite shmup.
Sure, fair.
Bullet Squid. It's on the Microsoft Store. Amazing. It's Space Impact. Space Impact.
Play Space Impact, Marco, tonight.
Now I got to download like the mobile version of it on the Microsoft Store and just play it and relive my glory days back when I was young, because I'm no longer young. But that aside, thank you all so much for participating in the Bullet Countdown live stream. Just so that you all know, we're so thankful for all of you. It has been me, your host, Marco Santos, also known as the Mechanic Critic, and with me is the ever amazing, ever wonderful lead designer Bullet himself,
Joshua Van Lanningham, also known as O3.
And
thanks for coming. Thanks for backing.
Thanks and remember, Josh, on 3, okay? On 1, 2, 3. Happy gaming. Thank you all so much. Bye.